LinkedIn's AI-powered job search can help you find the most relevant roles based on your goals and experience. It cannot help you find something to talk about in the elevator.
So, ride any dragons this weekend?
It can help you find your next job just by describing it in your own words. It cannot stop your coworker from describing their dreams.
So I was flying, right?
And while we can't help you advance in the office foosball tournament, LinkedIn can help you advance in your career. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
Instagram teen accounts have automatic protections for what teens see and who can contact them, plus time management tools. And Instagram will continue adding built-in safety features to help create age-appropriate experiences. Learn more about teen accounts and Instagram's ongoing work to protect teens online at instagram.com/teen accounts.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of Horror Movie Night. This week, we're talking about 1991's Dolly Dearest, not picked by me. Shocking to myself also.
It's because you didn't have the guts to do it.
I didn't have the guts to do it.
It had been on your, not even on your short list. It was, I think you had scheduled it. It got as far as scheduling it at least once.
So for those of you who don't see my Trello, which is everybody but the two people on this call, I have a long list. And then after I've watched a movie and said, ooh, I think we could do something with that, I put a little asterisk next to it to remind myself to move it up for the next year's block. And I think I had every intention of doing Dolly Dearest last year until we decided to do a year of anniversaries.
Yeah.
And then Kyle just came out here and ganked it straight out of my hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I did. I needed, it was a little strategy for me to get it off of my to watch shelf that has been taking up space over there. And I was like, I really think we're going to watch this for Horror Movie Night. So then I just pulled the trigger on it myself.
Well, much appreciate it, because I will say that a lot of the things that I said about the sect go hand in hand with this, in the sense of, I do think it takes way too goddamn long to really rev its engine and get going. But I would say about at the 55-minute mark, we start to see Dolly actually moving around and doing shit. And it is a delightful final 30 minutes
after that point. This was a really interesting.
Yeah,
it was not what I expected at all.
No, I wrote down my first note, and then Kyle, please begin to tell the plot summary.
Good luck.
But I wrote, honestly, evil Mayan spirit possessing doll makes more sense than voodoo criminal.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it's aged better in some ways.
Yeah, I will say makes less sense than the corrupt AI in the Child's Play remake, which is my favorite way that a doll becomes possessed. But yeah, I was like, you know what? What a fun way to possess this doll. And it almost felt hand in hand with the sect in a lot of weird parallel ways at times. But this was I thought that this was a little bit of a slog at the start, but man, once it got its foot on the gas, I was like, big ass smile on my face for the last 30 minutes of this watch.
Yeah. No, this had a lot of stuff going for it, and it does feel like a great pick for this show. It does feel like it lends itself to a great roster here on Horror Movie Night, including
in the slump of his career, Rip Torn cameo. That
Rip fucking Torn.
And he's supposed to be. He's supposed to actually be Mexican, right?
I think.
Well, so I don't think so. I think that he is a professor who is teaching in Mexico, but
yeah, I think he's an archaeologist.
Does Rip Torn know? Did Rip Torn know that about his character?
I don't think Rip Torn.
No, he didn't know. He was reading cue cards off the side.
Yeah,
I was the whole time. Like
I was going to say, Rip
Torn.
The name Rip Torn also describes the state of the script that he was given when he went to make this.
I really do think that I don't know, man. He was rough, but it made this that much more enjoyable a little bit. Like really seeing, sorry, nothing against Rip Torn, but seeing him not doing his best, but still like just chewing the scenery around him and trying to make this thing happen with as little knowledge and practice and memorizing as he had. He was an interesting part to this already quite interesting movie.
Yeah, he's just taking some big swings.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle,
more like a big paycheck, Matt.
I got to see what the budget for this was because I can't imagine that paycheck was that big.
Yeah, I had full intentions of doing a little bit more research about this movie than I did, but I didn't find a lot just on my initial one while I was sitting and watching. I did find out that it was directed by Maria, not Leach. Leash, thank you. And who is only directed porn other than this, which was wild. And then I was trying to figure out like how they got this movie. I was looking at the special features on the Vinegar Syndrome disc that came out. There's just an interview with Denise Crosby. So maybe for special features, I'll dig into that and get a little bit more information. But anyway, I'll continue on and give you all the lowdown on Dolly Dearest. Yes, this is about Mayan spirits that have escaped from ruins that come and are let go from these Mayan ruins and kill an archaeologist. And that's how we open the movie. We flash forward to Mr. Wade, who is moving his unwilling family to Mexico to open the Dolly Dearest manufacturing company. The house that they moved to is great. The factory that he has bought is absolute dog shit. Like really, it is in poor conditions. There are doll parts all over the place. He seems like he's gotten bamboozled here by the people who, though the people around him feel like they have all the best intentions. It actually feels like it's more of a miscommunication or lost in translation deal than it is any sort of ill intent, because the groundskeepers are like, no, we kept it. As if nobody's touched it. Like they didn't improve upon the factory that he's now bought. They just made sure nobody touched it, which actually made things worse. But this factory, the Dolly Dearest factory, is on the grounds right next to where this archaeological dig had been happening. Weird place, but you gotta dig where those things are, I guess.
Yeah.
The mother, Mrs. Wade, is played by Denise Crosby, who is a really great mom actor. Like she plays a great mom. She might be one of the best parts of this movie, aside from the dolls, which we'll get into. But I thought she was really great in this because she is the voice of trying to point out that all this crazy shit is happening and nobody's quite listening to her through this whole time. But this all starts because Jessica, the daughter, finds a bunch of dolls in the Dolly Dearest factory, and the dad gifts her one. It's far too fucking big. It's too big of a doll.
It's literally as big as she is.
It's her size.
That's the issue with a great many of the killer doll films, is like all of these dolls are too big.
They're too big. They're too big. I think this is going to pull a lot of comparisons to Child's Play in a lot of ways for very valid reasons. But for some reason still, like Alex, is his name Alex? And Chucky, they were somehow somewhat appropriate sizes. Jessica's just like a little too big, which makes the doll a little too big. It's a really awkward size because then they go into this dollhouse this playhouse that's behind the house that they have bought. And That's a weird proportion too. This movie is full of odd proportions. A priest is going to pray over the house of the Wade family, and when that happens, Jessica flips out, and this is where we start to realize that there is something wrong with Jessica. Somewhere else in this city, Rip Torn is an archaeology professor who was friends with the man who was crushed earlier in the film, and he is going to go to the dig site and figure out what had happened. Jimmy, the Wade's son, is also exploring the dig site, but he's 12, or he's in 7th grade, so he's probably 12.
Yeah,
he's in
right.
7th grade, and he thinks that he knows everything, and he tries to like talk to Rip Torn about getting into this archaeological site as well, trying to see what's up in there. And Rip Torn's like, yeah, I guess my assistant's dead and you can fit into small spaces. Sure. This is totally fine. No, I don't need to meet your parents. This is totally cool. We'll just continue doing this together.
80s were a wild time. Or is this 90s?
Things
is
are
this
wild.
What year is this?
This is
This is
1991.
91.
Oh, okay.
So don't let
weird.
anybody tell
we
you
have
there's not good
back-to-back
horror movies.
91s.
We have back-to-back
Oh.
91s.
Happy 35th anniversary, Dolly Dearest and the Sect.
For sure. Fun little fact tying all this even more to the Child's Play movies is Ed Gale, who turns out is a really terrible person. Feel free to venture their Wikipedia on your own time. But he was the doll in this movie, was Chucky in Child's Play 1, Child's Play 2, and Bride of Chucky could not do Child's Play 3 because he was filming Dolly Dearest.
Oh, wow. Wow. Famed doll actor.
It's like, remember when we did Anaconda and I was like shocked that there was a guy who was like
Frank
top
Welker,
build for voice of Anaconda.
Yeah.
That still
Frank-
is a little bit wilder than the guy who is voice of Killer Doll.
Yeah, but just body of Killer Doll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Body of Killer. Well, who was the voice of the Killer
you
Doll
got the
then?
body of a doll.
I feel like you got to be like wearing a zoot suit and chewing on a stogie to be like, you got a body of a doll, you know?
Yeah, that's how I thought I would say it to him if I ever got the chance, but I don't think I will.
You got to go to
apparently,
prison
Matt.
to do that.
So yeah, I guess I do.
I just because we're on this conversation, I was recently at a wedding where the DJ kept talking to our table and he was real sleazy about it. And one of the people sitting at our table made a comment that I'm going to think about forever, which is he strikes me as the type of guy who calls a woman dame because he's a gentleman.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. That's some weird thinking, isn't it? Dame. Oh, didn't we watch a movie where somebody kept calling somebody Dame?
Was it The Mask?
It was probably The Mask. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm on the
maybe.
hunt to find out who was the voice of the doll now.
So the doll ends up speaking to Jessica, and the housekeeper tries to do some praying as well, and Jessica is like attacks her in an evil language, which is not Mayan, it's Sanzian, and which we come to find out later from Rip Torn and Jimmy that it was a culture that was on this land a long time ago.
900 years.
Yeah, give or take. And so that night, Dolly leaves Jessica's room, and okay, I'm sorry. This is not I'm looking at my notes. This is how I know that the Doritos were doing their job. I have in quotes, which is then to sing this. So, she's walking. Yes, indeed, she's talking. She is Dolly. She's walking. She's talking. She's gonna kill my mom. And that's what it feels like at this point in time. So Dolly's walking around, and the housekeeper gets trapped in the basement. The housekeeper is like, I'm leaving the next morning. Like, I'm gone. You don't need me here if you're not going to like be okay with me praying for your family and your daughter's yelling at me. So she's going to bounce the next morning. But that night, Dolly walks around. Jessica walks around. They get locked out of the house. So the housekeeper has to try to find a way back in. She gets trapped in the basement and is Dolly's first victim, after she gets electrocuted in the sump pump. I think is that a sump pump?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
sure.
a Mexican sump pump.
Yeah.
It basically is like a concrete bathtub. Let's just call it a sump pump.
It's also, you said is Dolly's first victim. First of 2, I believe. This is a insanely low body count, I think, in this movie. Maybe 3.
I found that kind of charming, actually. This movie is not great, and I don't know if I'd watch it again, but like I found it charming in such that it was because I did not quite know what was going to happen each time. But by the end, I kind of had a feeling. Once there were like multiple Dollys, we'll get there. Yeah. But like, I was like, wow, I was not guessing that was going to happen. So like, I knew that if there was a dog, the dog would have been killed first, right? But since there was no dog, it has to be the housekeeper who's like, it's got to be the protector, right?
Exactly. Well, I think what's also interesting when you think about it through that lens is like, the Child's Play franchise, as much as I love that franchise, has to do so much work to cover up the growing amount of bodies that Chucky is killing.
Yes.
And where in this one, it's like, okay, this first death is so easy to write off as accidental, right? Like someone slipped and fell. And then by the time the second death happens, everybody's on the same page around that point of, oh shit,
not everyone.
Most of the people are getting on
that. Does
the dad
the fucking dad thing, the horror movie dad thing, where he's like, "You're being hysterical, wife." She's like, she just said in a demon voice, "She hates me, wants to kill me," and he's like, I'm tired
Jimmy
and hungry.
Heard it too. Jimmy's
also
heard the voice and was like, why is her voice like that? And
Jimmy's a fucking idiot.
I really was hoping that he would die.
That's what I mean. He would have been the only other. Him and the dad both probably could have gone, but I get whatever.
They probably could have gone. No,
whatever.
Jimmy has this weird, and after this point in time, Jimmy has some weird energy because he gets placed into this as more of a central character than he needs to be, and I think he knows it. I think the actor who plays Jimmy knows it because he is hamming it up.
I was going to say, if this was shot, this feels like it was shot in order, and he realized he was getting a bigger and bigger role and was like, well, then I'm going to own every scene.
Yeah, and that's like...
Good for him.
I was like, is this supposed to be comic relief, or is it just a really weird reading of like a precocious kid? I was like, I don't know what this is. It's weird. There is a really good jump scare with him after this first death. There's like a lightning scare, and he's in the doorway, and it actually got me. And then there's some broken windows and a bloated housekeeper. That then the next day we're just like, okay, like
dead housekeeper. I guess we just go along with.
We're just gonna move along. It was an accident, terrible accident.
That's what's so funny about movies. Like, well, I guess this is like horror story logic, be it movies or books. The older I get, and I want to put you guys into this bucket, this category as well, because you're smart guys, and I think that we all feel a certain way about plot devices and pacing. But once there's a body and obviously a supernatural, at least one supernatural event in real life, you're gonna be like, let's get the fuck out of here. And unless there's something stopping you, there was nothing stopping this family from leaving, like except for the dad being like, all of our money from this family is in this doll manufacturing business. But like literally, they could have fixed that by having Dolly kind of do a slasher rampage, because slasher rampages work so well because the bodies are mounted, like the body count is mounting in such a way where there's no police involved. There's no like exposition seeing the nun sister of the dead housekeeper, like all these things that are unnecessary for the story.
That scene, more than almost any other scene, really had a we gotta get this to 90 minutes energy.
Sure, that's fine. It could have been a phone call. She called her sister on the phone before she got killed. So,
well, there's that, and there's her that sister going to the site and then trying to stop them or trying to destroy the tomb. But then before that, they kind of half what you're saying.
Oh, was that
Scott,
the nun who shows up? I totally missed that was the nun who was like, you have to close the portal, the doorway. Was that her?
Yeah, well, it doesn't. No, I'm assuming that it is.
I thought it was just some random woman from the village.
Well, that's what my notes just have it as a random person, but I'm trying to make sense of why that's
Well,
there,
she wasn't wearing her habit, so we don't know if it was, because I honestly have nun blindness. If you're wearing a habit, you're a completely different person.
That was my takeaway, was that the nun was also the one that tried to burn the archaeological site. Also, because we can't find shit about how much this movie cost. I think Rip Torn took up about half of the budget.
Oh, yeah.
And the Dolly effect took up the other half of the budget, so they could not hire more than who was there.
No. And they just need to place. So this is where the slasher mentality comes into play, but they do it an hour too late, where they place this handyman character as the next body that has to get killed. We have not met this man before, but he's working at the Wade factory, and he's our next bot. And so he's our second of 3 deaths.
Yeah. Wait, who's the third
He
death?
also looks like
I think he's just the second.
I think
the second death. He's just the second.
I don't think
death.
anybody else dies.
Yeah, I think he's the second of 2 deaths. So even Rip
right.
Torn gets out of this movie.
Yeah,
You're right.
He doesn't deserve
A character
to.
designed to die in every other script in the world.
His name is Lewis, and he only gets killed. He only gets introduced to be killed, but this is where we find out that there's multiple dolls, which I do think
That was a cool plot twist. I like that.
That was really neat.
But
I was pretty hyped.
Okay,
about
so
that.
they're sharing a consciousness. I believe that it is a supernatural demonic hive mind that is control, or one spirit that can control multiple, and they're not utilizing each other in an effective manner. They're just fucking around. They're like, now it's time for fun. And they could easily have killed Jimmy. He's just bumbling around. There's water. He could have gotten electrocuted. There was a Bunsen burner that was burning. They could have burned his face off. He could have been strangled by that noose that was just hanging around when the dad almost gets dipped into a vat of wax, I guess. But they're acting like individual, like Chuckies.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm asking too much
that's-
from a movie from 1991 called Dolly Dearest,
But I do think, so a couple interesting things when I did a little bit of quick research was that at some point, and I think it was in the very, very early first drafts, at some point this was being written as Child's Play 4. That was the original title.
No,
I don't. That's apparently what it says.
That sounds apocryphal. That sounds like an internet fan theory.
And I'm sure that even if that was true, it was someone's fan script that they were like, fuck it, I could probably get this made or whatever.
Yeah,
but
that I'll accept.
As we have learned from doing all the Child's Play movies, eventually we get to this Chucky hive mind concept by cults of Chucky, but that's a thing that he's been wanting to do since the second movie. So it is interesting that Dolly Dearest does beat him to the punch on that concept.
15 years or something?
Yeah, it's crazy that they got there first. I do think that the reveal that all the dolls are alive are done kind of to perfection, with the handyman playing with this doll in the factory. The doll's head turns to look at him, and then he goes off and does something, and the doll like a teenage girl in the 90s dramatically rolls her eyes about what a doofus he is.
That is the best part of the entire movie.
No, she's got attitude.
But this is where we start to get the Dolly that I like, right? Because we're looking at the dolls. If you're watching the video, you can see the dead face stares of these doll props. But when we get this animatronic moving doll that just has this gnarly, angry, very human-like face
and scars,
well, I think it's just supposed to be that it's a possessed, withered body.
I get it, but it looks like, I don't know. I wish that it had gone that far personally, because I'm or maybe if we would have seen, if they wanted to get to the 90 minutes and they wanted to add some fun little whatever, they could have had her cutting her face. You know how the Deadites in Evil Dead, they mutilate their faces. Have Dolly be like, I fucking hate this plastic prison. Blah.
Yeah,
that would have been amazing.
I agree with that. But I'm gonna say something that I think is a hot take. I think that Dolly Dearest looks better than Chucky in the first Child's Play movie. I think it is a cooler freakier looking puppet prop.
I agree.
To me.
I think that's a hot take for people that don't know us, but in our circle, in your safe space, you are not.
No one's shocked by that. But
no
I was
like argue that.
Rewatching this again, this is probably the third or fourth time I've seen this movie, but probably the first time I really, really watched it. You know what I mean? Like, I've had it on in the background and been like, oh, that was a cool moment. Like, this is like the first time I really sat and took it all in without like any distractions. And man, I was like, this prop fucking rules.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think. I mean, I used to be equally scared of. I mean, this is my first watch, but I've known about this cover forever. I mean, since I could know about covers.
It's an iconic video store cover. Yeah,
and I do think that, like, on the scale of movies not adding up to their box art, which we've seen aplenty, right? This one does fine. This one does it. I think I probably could have used a few more kills, but then at the same time, like, what, we're going to introduce another, like, handyman to get killed for no reason if we're not going to kill off the family, which my other favorite part of when Jimmy is walking around that fucking Looney Tune Acme factory of like booby traps, like, is when the doll head that's not positioned on a doll yet gets possessed and moves its eyes and tongue all around. Yeah, it was so awesome. It was great.
Yeah, this movie is more fun than it has any right actually being.
Yeah.
But it takes a while to get to the fun.
It takes a while to get there, and then by the time we get there, I mean, there's nothing that I'm gonna explain that you probably don't already think is coming, which is that, you know, we find out more of why that tomb is open. We find out that that culture, or that was it Sanzia? The Sanzians were trying to create a demon child, so there's this tomb that has a demon child in it that you've let the spirit out of. We have that person who tries to blow it up. We have the dad continuing to not believe. We have Jessica being completely possessed until
Jimmy shoots Dolly with a shotgun.
Fucking doll with a shotgun. I gasped when the shotgun was in Jessica's face. There's this quick moment where all of a sudden, like, the shotgun's in her face. That freaked me out. It was a really good cut. And then Dolly gets shot. Jessica gets released. As I said before, Mom is just playing such a good mom character. She delivers this line. She says, "How is this happening?" But it's not in a, like, how is this happening? Like this distress, like this, like, damsel in distress way. She's literally like, how is this happening? Like, how? It's really kind of grounded in the grand scheme of things. But this shotgun to Dolly, play with this, bitch. Yeah. Oh, fucking gets it. So good.
That's why the kid was like, "Oh, I'm now the star of the movie."
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna get the big line.
I get the killer line.
Yeah.
Dad gets lassoed, and to harp more on this Looney Tunes fucking thing, Dad gets lassoed and is hanging above, like, a cotton till or some sort of, like, stuffing, like, till.
Oh, okay. I thought he was gonna get dipped in like plastic, but that makes more sense if it was like the filling for the dolly.
Yeah, I thought it was some sort of mill, which I suppose could be a plastic one. But he had a big this doll. I don't know how they were making dolls here, because it's, they come across 3 already made dolls, 4, I guess, because then Jessica gets one, and then, like, we cut to, like, a week or 2 later as the possession is taking hold or whatever, and he's getting these boxes shipped into the factory, but he still only has, like, maybe only 10 dolls now. Like, he hasn't made more dolls, but he's getting this shipment of boxes that are just taking up his entire factory. So that's why they couldn't get out of Mexico. They were so in debt to this Dolly Dearest factory that they weren't going anywhere. They end up, it doesn't matter. Eventually they all come to, and they blow up the factory. And the final shot, you have this factory in flames, and you just hear these dolls screaming. Yeah, it's kind of haunting. I really had a lot of fun with this one. This was great.
Yeah, this is like, to me, I'm not saying that this is a great. I gave this movie 2.5 stars. Like, it's not a great movie, but this is like, when I think of what horror movie night is at its core, it's shit like Dolly Dearest. It's like that VHS tape that haunted you as a kid. Everybody online said it was absolute like 1-star dog shit that you shouldn't watch because it's just a cheap like Chucky ripoff. And then like actually watching and being like, you know what? There's a lot of fun in this movie that people have been writing off for like 35 years now. So
I agree.
It makes me glad we do this show.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've been waiting for the opportunity to watch this movie. I know I've said it before on air. I don't know when, but I've definitely at least said it once recently. Like, I've been waiting to watch this movie for one of you guys to pick it because I knew it was an eventuality, and knocked her out of the park, Kyle. Good job, buddy.
If you're chasing data down instead of seeing it in one place, you need the Intuit ERP. Intuit Enterprise Suite. All your data in one place with built-in AI for real-time insights. Learn more at intuit.com/ERP.
TaxAct knows every small business owner has different tax filing needs. With TaxAct, you can file yourself with the help of an expert, or TaxAct can do it all for you. You're the boss, the head honcho, the top banana. And TaxAct is like your loyal, trusty tax aide, ready to pounce on any tax needs you might have. TaxAct is dying to pounce on some small business tax needs. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
This episode is brought to you by Beneful. Mornings are when the grind starts. Stretches, immaculate. Cardio, crushed it. Territory, marked. Sorry, geraniums. The dog routine is on point, but it can get a little wolf. That's why I fuel up with high-protein Beneful freshly prepared meals. I'm eating clean with real meat and veggies, served fresh from the pantry. Kick boring in the bowl with Beneful freshly prepared meals. Visit Purina.com/Beneful to shop now.
Adobe Acrobat, your team's home base. Collaborate within a shared PDF space. You've got your docs, your plans, your specs, and then invite the crew to build what's next. They talk up the teamwork, use an updated render. They think that this design could be a contender. And when somebody wonders what's the next step, AI helps you finish the rest. Bolts are tight, now your plan's refined. Run a smoother business when you're all aligned. Do that with Acrobat. Learn more at adobe.com/do-that-with-Acrobat.
Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while, because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm, available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
All right, Kyle, you had some people over. What movie are you showing them next?
I had three really, really great options, if I do say so myself. But what I am going to go with is, nobody wants this, but I do. We're going to watch Herencia Diabolica.
Oh,
which is,
are you sure no one wants that? Because call me, baby.
I was just watching it and I was like, there's a lot of other things that this could go with, which I wrote down. But I was like, what I really want to do is I want to continue to stay in this land, and I want to see this clown puppet come to life, not played by Ed Gale. So that's what I'm going with.
Scott, do you want to go next?
Sure, I'll go next. I love A Tiny Terror, but I'm not really a Child's Play guy. So I'm going to go with a recent favorite of mine, in quotations, Playroom.
God damn it! That was mine!
I had that down too. I had it down too. Wow.
I even had a lead in. I was going to say you can't play with your dolly if you're not in the playroom.
Hey, it still hits.
Playroom, I do think is
it's the correct
a really
answer.
Fucking good.
Yeah,
double feature.
There's not always a correct answer for double feature, but every once in a while, and usually it's when all three of us have it on our short list of double features. Playroom is the correct answer. God damn it! I was like, I'll let Scott go. There's no way he's gonna pick Playroom.
It was my pick. Of course, I'm gonna pick it.
All right. Well, then I'll just go with the more cliched Matt Kelly answer because the coolest moment with Dolly mirrors what I think is the coolest Chucky moment of all time when she's standing there looking all gnarly and angry with a knife in her hand, which reminds me of Chucky with his ruler in his hand in Child's Play 2. So I'll put
nice
it there.
choice.
God damn it.
Nice.
I love how this is ruining your evening.
It really is. I'm hungry and now I'm mad. I'm hangry.
Just like the dad in this movie, you're
films.
like, I just heard a child speak in a demon voice saying that she hates her mother. I'm sorry, I'm tired and hungry. I actually expected him to be like, where's my dinner after that? Thank goodness he did not.
Yeah, legit. I've been in the factory all day. I will say that 3 of the 4 movies, the picked one and 2 of our selections are available on Vinegar Syndrome, and that's not an ad, but this is just kind of the world in which we're talking about right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
My other one was Kathy's Curse, which I think would also be a fun one, but it doesn't quite have the doll. It has the possession, doesn't have the doll aspect of it.
You need the doll. You need the doll.
Need the doll.
What you need is to go to patreon.com/HMM podcast and help support the show. Go to hmmpodcast.dashery.com and buy some merch to support the show. Just hang out on our socials, HMM Podcast on everything, including our letterbox, and visit our website, hmmpodcast.com. And now the final part of our show. We got to talk about what we watched, listened to, read, etc. Kyle, what have you talked about?
Okay, so I haven't been watching a ton. At the time of recording this, the Olympics had ended. So we were watching a lot of Olympics in our downtime. But what I did watch was a movie called Effects. And Effects is a movie put out by a lot of like the Romero guys in Pittsburgh, like John Harrison and Tom Savini. They're all part of this, and Joe Spinelli, not Joe Spinelli, the guy from Day of the Dead, Joe Pilato. And it's about a group of filmmakers who set out to make a horror movie when in actuality they might be making a snuff film, and it's about who is involved and who's not. And for that amount of those types of people, there's not a lot of gore, but it is kind of mean-spirited. And Synapse had put out a DVD of it that I came across used. And actually, I think maybe Vinegar Syndrome put out the Blu-ray of it. But I got it for $1, and I didn't know a lot about it. It's mean and it's rough and it's not very well done, but all of that has a little bit of charm to it. Just being like, oh, these guys who are in this circle of filmmakers from Pittsburgh went out and did a thing all a little off kilter. And it was an interesting little blip of horror history. So that was Effects. It's from 1979.
Okay. I'll go real quick. Watching Oscar buzz movies. This is coming out post Oscars, but did watch Begonia, which I liked. I mean, that is a very challenging director, and this is still a challenging movie from him, but similarly to how I felt like Anora was the most digestible Sean Baker film, this is probably one of the most digestible Yorgos movies in a long time, because it's a small cast and it's a very simple premise. For those of you who don't know the plot line of this movie, it's about a conspiracy theorist who kidnaps a woman played by Emma Stone, convinced that she is part of an alien cartel here to take over the earth, and the lengths he goes to try to prove his theory correct. And it gets more and more like horrific and horrifying as it goes on, but then takes a bunch of crazy twists as the movie continues. Just the performances across the board are great. I actually watched his other movie, Kinds of Kindness, as well was not for me on that one. Yorgos is very hit or miss, I think, a lot of the time, but I think Begonia was one of his actual, like, oh, this is a pretty well-crafted movie. It's easy to follow. It has a message, and then it has some cool, like, twists along the way. It's not like watching fucking Killing of a Sacred Deer where you just want to, like, kill yourself when that movie is over.
Where you want to be the sacred deer.
Yeah, you're just like, oh my God. Like that, I cannot stand that movie. And like The Lobster is just like too quirky for quirk's sake for me sometimes. But this kind of fits in a little bit more with like Poor Things and The Favorite, where it's a more consistent plot. It still has the cool, like his cool little flair for style, but on a much tighter budget than normal. So recommend that. I don't think it's going to win Best Picture or anything, but it's a good watch.
I watched most of the third act over someone's shoulder on the way to California in a plane.
So you saw how insane the last like 10 minutes that
No, I didn't see the last 10 minutes. I saw most of it. I just didn't see the end, but I already know what the ending is. And it reaffirmed my dislike of his movies. So there you go.
Yeah, he is certainly not for everybody. He's barely for me. It really is movie by movie if I'm a fan.
And you are much more of a movie guy than I am. I'm so much more of just the entertain me. I feel like such a fucking Neanderthal when I'm like, I don't like his stuff, you know.
No, I mean people are very much allowed to not like shit.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Brian, have you been on the internet?
I was talking to Brian about it because Brian hasn't watched any of his movies strictly because he hated Killing of a Sacred Deer so much. He's like, I hated that movie so much that I refused to watch any of his other films. And I'm like, well, this one's a little bit more digestible than that one at least. All right, Scott, take us home. What else besides Begonia over someone's shoulder did you watch?
Also on that trip to California, I read In a Day, Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle.
Nice.
Chuck Tingle is someone who's been kind of like a punchline in the like periphery of my internet understanding of the author. And I almost picked up Camp Damascus multiple times at Barnes & Noble. And I was like sitting at the airport and I had finished the first two stories of his Black Tongue by Mitchell Luthi. Did not like it. And I tried to read How to Become a Dark Lord or Die Trying. And I got 20 pages in and I was like, this shit is awful. And so I was just like going down my Goodreads and I was like, oh, Camp Damascus, it's available in Libby. So I downloaded it and it was a lot of fun. I had very low expectations and it did get a bit silly with some of its logic and some of its the third act of the book, like I'd say the last third of the book, if it's a 300-page book, like the last 100 pages were a bit silly. Maybe that's kind of what you would expect from Chuck Tingle. But I found it to be very digestible. I found it to be fun, religious horror, and it was a little zany. Like, I don't zany's not the right word, but it was a good, fun ride. If it would have been longer, if it would have felt like a slog, I would not be talking about it here, because I think that its major strength is the fact that it kind of straddles the line of like a semi-gory religious horror for the YA audience, so like a high schooler.
Yeah. But
then also it is a little bit more adult, so it might be more for like a 20-something Zoomer. I am neither of those things, but I can still appreciate the craftsmanship. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that it was a fun movie, or a fun book. And I think that it did such a better job with its characterizations of queer youths and religious indoctrination than I expected from someone like Chuck Tingle, who, I mean, like, for the listener that may not know, like, I think that his persona online is very gonzo porn. Yeah. That's what I know him for. I mean, like, I mean,
yeah.
He also, like, his most recent book is called Kill Your Gaze, and I think that it's very much like a more adult take on, like, queer theory in horror, especially Hollywood, if I understand the basic premise of the book. So I think that he really rolls in a lot of different circles, but I did enjoy that read very much. And I also want to give a quick shout out to listener and friend of the show, Corwin. If you don't know who Corwin is, he did the artwork for our tarot shirt, as well as the banner for our socials and our website. He messaged me and was like, "Hey, I heard that you are getting back into writing, and I would really love to read what you have been doing and also share with you something that I've been working on." And so we swapped stories, and that was really, really nice. Like, first of all, Corwin is quite a student of literature and had incredible insight on the 2 shorts that I sent him. But also, it was just really interesting to get into that. And so, like, I don't get that opportunity very often with listeners and tertiary friends of the show. I think this is only the second time in the entire time we've been doing the show, and I would love more of that, because I feel like that's just such a wonderful gift for someone to, like, let you inside their brain.
Yeah, agreed.
We want to see your shit.
Yeah.
I want to see your insides.
I want to see your insides. Oh my God, I will that's really funny. So somebody did that for Carly on one of her internship interviews, and maybe this is absolutely my story to tell. Fuck her. I'm just kidding, Dave. I love you. But somebody was, like, talking to her, and they ended it with being like, "Oh, I'm really interested in, like, what you know. Like, I'd like to get to know more. Like, I just want to pick your brain clean." And they said that to her on an internship interview. This person did not get picked for that internship out of fear for getting her brain picked. But all that to say, coming from horror podcasters, I think we can happily say, and mean this with love, we'd like to pick your brains clean.
Yeah, and you know what? You guys get to pick our brains clean every Thursday night here at Horror Movie Night. So subscribe and find us here week after week discussing some of your favorite or least favorite horror movies.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.